Hello everyone, this is Fantastic Worlds, welcoming you back to Lovecraft Country and Cultist Simulator, the Exile DLC. Now, we've had our first brush with the foe, which is really kind of early in the game, by the way, but hey, you got an idea of just how quickly things can go wrong, and we've managed to run to Munich, which we have an old friend that some of you will recognize from the Cultist Simulator base game, Janning the Vivisectionist. 6 heart, and he is a local contact and mortal, which means he can be killed. Yes, he can die in this game, just even though he can't really die in the... there's exactly one way you can kill your contacts in the base game, and it's hilarious. And if we get to the Grimoire, I'll show you what it is. But we will get to the Grimoire. But if you recall, we're still limping from the gunshot. We managed to get out before either the foe or his new right-hand man, the position we used to carry, by the way, got a piece of us, and we actually managed to grab the Line Hunter's rifle on the way out. Now, if you recall from the previous game, Line Hunter is the Colonel's counterpart, which means that he is the force of war and chaos of revolution, while the Colonel is a force of law and war, which is essentially, authority, both in its aspect of law and, of course, of oppression and colonialism, because this is, after all, during the time of the British Empire, and the Colonel is usually the highest ranking person that anybody in such a colony will see, which is hence the name. I don't know what they call it these days. What do you think? And who does he represent? What nationality? If you're on YouTube, down in the comments below, what do you think the god of authority and oppression would be in 2021? No one gets to say Trump, by the way. Anyways, so, he doesn't have anything to do with war. Okay, so, in any case, this is going to be introducing a new type of concept. First of all, of course, our local contact, and second of all, what our local contact will be giving us, which is called a caper. The moment, of course, we'll go over the Line Hunter's rifle. It is an asset. It is a weapon, so we can use it to try to attack our opponents or block their attacks. It is portable, which means we have to pack it. We now have 3 items we have to pack, which means 30 seconds plus 20 seconds 10 seconds either side means 50 seconds from the point when we start to leave to when we actually are safe-ish. It's worth 2. Now, this is important. If you have assets that are worth more than 1 value, it's actually better to carry them as cash because you can use them as a barter system. But this is unique to the rifle. As you can see, the Antec rifle is sliced with a 5-fold mark of the many-winged ones. The many-winged ones, a Striga, by the way, which will be referenced in the caper should we ever get to it, are also kind of known as the Furies, basically, or other types of gods of, demons or spirits, more than gods, of chaos, war, and atrocity. So obviously they would empower weapons quite well. Just 3 10-a-night iron balls, monster killers, remain. But the thing is, we can only use 3 rounds. We can sell the empty rifle for a 1 value after we're done with it, simply because the fact is that it is a gun. You can chamber it with regular rounds, and in fact, it's not the gun itself, it is in fact the bullets that are important. But we're going to keep this in mind because it is a better weapon in the fact that it is a 4 edge. Should we actually need edge, and we might need that quite soon, we will be able to do more damage than the little bit of pistol we have here. So we got a rifle with magic bullets, and we've got a regular pistol with standard lead rounds, and we have, of course, our odd little bone, which is the forge/grail artifact. We also have tranquility, which is a 4 heart for winter influence, 155 seconds remaining, and of course our wound and our knife. Now, the reason why I usually will start these sessions going over what we have is it reminds me of what aspects we have going, because aspects, of course, are the game here, and since we're not a magician, we can't use lore, except for the knife secret, of course. We can't use lore other than edge. So everything that we want to do is going to have a magical object or a resonance, such as our wound or our state of mind. Now, of course, or a dude, because apparently he's a vivisectionist and a dueler, he has heart. I kind of would put him more of a edge dude myself, but my God, there is a separate person who is the edge, because there's only 1 possible local contact / companion for each aspect. Anyways, Munich. Now, Munich is, like I said, has a couple of unique characteristics. Starting, we're going to have troubled, which means we can actually set this place on fire if we want to. There's really only a few reasons to do so, unless you're doing it for entertainment. And as I pointed out, it was also the attempt of Hitler's first attempt to take power via coup did occur in the city. Cult of the Colonel. My intelligence is correct. There's a cult of the Colonel somewhere in the city. This is important for Number of reasons. 1, we can use it to upgrade our lore or for other purposes, and 2, we can dedicate ourselves to the kernel and go for one of the Defiance endings. But as you notice, we're still trying to go on the Temptation Escape, but like I've said before, this game, sometimes what you want and what you get are going to be radically different. And of course, our wound. Now, first things first. When we enter a new city, the first thing you do is you send a discreet messages from here, a small risk of running traces, to get out, because it doesn't matter. They're going to keep coming after us, and we need our escape. We need our escape clause. So at the same time, we don't really want to do much of anything else. Now, remember, of course, if you pick up a card, it will tell you where you can use it. And yeah, that one right here, we're not touching that yet. We might be this run. We might be, especially if I want to start burning things down. But first things first, I'm starting at normal speed because I'm just getting warmed up, and I usually do that for a couple of times. And because I'm in my usual recording station and not the auxiliary one, I can't use any liquids here. It's too much equipment. So there'll be no coffee keeping me lubricated. So we're going to have to be a little more careful about some of our choices, especially towards the end of the episode. Deep breath. Hang on 1 second. Let me adjust something. Come on. All right, there we go. Perfect. I think. No, that didn't work. Anyways. Sorry, distracted. All right, onwards. The Halgenkinder of Vosges. I apologize. Sometimes takes human shape to walk the streets of Strasbourg. They have dealt with them before. They know as well as any to be obtrusive. Perhaps they can help. All right, Strasbourg. Okay, this is a unique card in a couple of ways. First of all, Strasbourg is one of the few places that you will get an obscurity just for arriving that isn't remote, because remote areas do it automatically, but it costs twice as much to get there. In this case, you luck out, especially if you're going for the obscurity run, because it only costs you 1 cash. Notice, however, that makes us broke, except for barter. So the question is, do we want to risk selling the stuff again? Do we want instead to attempt to get stuff going, or do we want to do what's called the caper? Now, first of all, we can always just summon the caper by putting this guy in. Basically, arrange initial meeting. I'm meeting with Count Jennings, a surgeon, duelist, and vivisectionist. Vivisection, by the way, is dissecting a person while they're still alive. Or animal, but let's face it, this is Cultist Simulator. Odds are it's going to be a dude. So, let's unpause that. It's only going to take about 10 seconds. Now, the thing is about capers is that they will require you have 3 different challenges. The first challenge will require 4 of 1 or more aspects. Okay, this game's Count Jennings clicks his heels and bows. I've heard of your troubles, he tells me. It would be interesting to accompany you, but first, let me invite you to participate in a competitive social occasion. No, I must insist. All right, what this means is that he is from the Kopaigas Mamura Muchen. That is a charming brick house with crow step gables and a pair of venerable pines at the front door. In the attic, the Merriman prefer the rites of pain and courage. This will hurt. Yeah, he's of a cult of war. Not one of the official ones of the cult or Lionsmith, but of dueling, of gentlemen with mystic abilities and such, pitting themselves in non-lethal, usually, conflict. And it's actually kind of cool. It's one of the reasons why he's looking for, the lore that he requests, which I believe is to be edge and heart, both of which about life and the taking of it. But this will also give us, this is what's called vault and a location. Yeah, a vault will allow us to do is what is, of course, same as what we have for expedition in the primary one. Now, again, like I said, the first challenge in this will require 4 of 1 aspect. The second challenge will require 8, and the third challenge will require 12. Now, if you remember Jennings from the original game, since he is a master of the edge or heart, you're going to assume it's one of those two is going to be important. You're right. And since it's duelist, you're going to go more for the edge. You'd be absolutely correct. I can get through this caper with 12 edge. Now, the way to do that, we need to combine 4 cards, but that's 2, 4, and 2. I have the ability to make 8 and 3 cards, and I have no other edge cards. Now, there's going to have to be a couple of ways we do this. First of all, if we caper, it's going to take us at least 3 minutes. And again, with this game, 3 minutes can be to life or death. And if I have to use my weapons while I'm doing this, then that kind of means that I'm going to be at a slight disadvantage. So one of the things we're probably going to have to do is we have to accept that this early in the game, we're probably not going to be able to pull off a caper. If I can do it, and I'd love to, just double checking, I would, but I'm going to have to we're going to have to do a standard reconnoiter of Munich. Now, this may produce a trace, of course. Now, one of the things we can do if you're up to it, is if you pay attention to where the clock is over here. Now, if I do a reconnoiter when there's less than 30 seconds left on this cycle, then that means that we'll have slightly more time than the first. Now, normally times I don't pay attention to all that stuff when I'm doing the base game. This one's kind of important. So let's give this a try and see if we burn a trace. If we burn a trace, we burn a trace, and we have to get out, and we'll make some emergency cash on the way out. I'm gonna switch to fast forward since I'm a little bit up, and good, no spawn. 10% chance every time that cycle goes around of people just kind of showing up. No trace. Excellent. What did we find? Yes, it's exactly what I wanted, the Salar Motan. In the deepest cellar of the National Theatre stands a stern image carved in black forest oak. 60 years ago, the Swan King staged a grandiose premiere of his favorite composer's new opera. Now, the Swan King is an actual entity in here. That means the Black Swan is the what he did so. And apparently it didn't go well. The stage trappings were banished down here and forgotten. Now the image's eye has been scarred out to make him blind, and those who know the place's power perform their harsh devotions before it. Now the colonel, this image right here, is blind because when he had to go kill the many-coiled serpent, which we've discussed briefly before, I think the lore episodes are going to be lovely on this one, but when it had a Medusa-like ability to kill him through sight, so he had to have his eyes removed, and every scar he had additional to that was a type of attack the creature was known to use. He exposed himself to, and with the help of the woman who became the mother of ants/serpents, he gained immunity to all the multi-coiled attacks before the battle even began. Well, hey, if you're Sun Tzu, you'd appreciate that. But you might notice it's a shrine of the Colonel, the secret shrine of a secret god, the power sometimes known as the Colonel. My foe has some dealings with the Colonel, and my old mob was discouraged from visiting his shrines. This is because the foe is actually a demigod of the Colonel, god of violence and authority. So therefore, if from a society of assassins that is dedicated to the Colonel, would be ones that are designed to basically keep the existing power structures of the British Empire. So you eventually have the Reckoners as a group of mystical assassins protecting the British Empire in the name of the god of war and oppression. You know, somebody needs to write novels about this shit. I mean, it's better than you're going to see in most other intellectual properties, but for crying out loud, come on. There's a number of things you can do here. Now, not today. I walk on. Oh, that's right. I can't enter a shrine. The opposite of peace. I can't enter a shrine until this burns out. You've got 82 seconds before my peaceful heart betrays me. But in any case, we're at the 46 mark, which means that I should wait to the 29 mark before going Munich again and attempting to find that. Because what I want is I want to be able to use that shrine. Now, there's a chance I could probably just let the cycle go until tranquility's gone. I mean, it's not really an issue. We only got about 47 seconds or 20 seconds or so, and given our accelerated rate right here. And that will produce my desired result for the shrine. Okay, so 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I am no longer at peace. Boom. Visit an iron shrine. I've spent decades staying out of the hour's way. Perhaps it's time to change that. Yes. Okay, there's a number of ways you can do this. You're going to notice that, first of all, we only have one possibility here because I'm not using a Defiance run. I don't have a Defiance card, and the Defiance card, if I placed it here, would allow me to dedicate myself to the Colonel. By dedication, you set yourself on one of two paths. You're setting on one path. One of two paths, really. You can die, or you can ascend. You can get a couple of minor victories in there, too. But the primary reason I'm going to do this is the Colonel Shrine sometimes smell of gunpowder and sometimes of snow. Snow, remember, is the power of death. Winter in this game. I can learn more of the battle mysteries of the edge here. So we currently have two. So what we're going to do, spend 60 seconds, and we're going to increase our edge lore to 4. Now remember, that's 4, 4, 2. We still don't have enough to be able to get through this point. So the question is, what are we going to do at this point? If I Munich up and I get a trace, I've got a small chance of getting a trace. I think this is what I'm going to do. Reconnoiter. And let's see what goes on while we're at the shrine. I like the fact that we can be in two places at once in this game. Or we can read and sleep at the same time. That's actually always awesome. Hello, anybody out there? Numbers keep going up and down, but I can't tell what's real. Okay, we can buy another weapon. Unfortunately, we can't. The problem with weapons, the profane weapon, is you only have one. If you buy another one, essentially you just reset your current one. So that was really useless. Again, we're at the 53 mark, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the shrine pass through, and that's going to give me a 4 edge. That's also going to take away the shrine card, because you only visit shrines once. Only able to do once is kind of interesting. Now, there's a couple of ways I can handle this at this point. First of all, if I choose to do the caper with, say, 2 points too low in this regard, there is still a chance that we'll be able to pull it off. There's like the 10 to 30% chance that if you don't have an adequate number of aspects for each challenge, they'll let you go by. But if you don't, it's quite possible you can get a trace. So yeah, what we can probably do is just hit the reconnoiter button again. Probably going to get a trace this time. In that case, we'll begin our exit strategy. But still need more edge if we're going to do this. And we can have more than one rifle, for example. So there's other possibilities, of course. And we do not eject, which is good. And boom. Oh, we're having good. Okay, underworld connection. This is good because also it doesn't require cash. Now, there's another possibility, by the way, with underworld connections is that you can do certain things like have an underground fighting arena, which again, of course, uses the exact same edge lore as you're going to be using for this caper. So this would actually be an awesome way to do it if you could pull it off. But again, is that now the biggest thing, however, about underworld connections is they have 8 edge. If I get this connection, I can pull the caper off easily, which is exactly what I'm going to do, as it's only going to cost me 1 year. Okay, and in 10 seconds we'll have that, and then we'll begin our caper. Now the caper will cost 8-4. We can actually do this in 2 cards. Hey, this is cool. All right, so we've been relatively lucky so far, which is why I'm waiting for that luck to break. Anyways. Right, underworld connection. So this will, by the way, discharge it when I use this, which means that I will end up with having to pay another year if I want to use the connection again for some reason. But right now we're going to be not touching anything else, because if we pull this off, we're going to have a small artifact and we're going to possibly get Jennings as our ally. So first things first is to pull the caper in. Okay, big in a caper. Get in, get the goods, and get out. I don't think it's ever been that simple. If you want to read it up here. Now, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to throw in the lore. The reason I'm doing this is that if you leave a caper, if for some reason the foe shows up automatically and I have to jet, you'll lose what you have in here for assets. For example, if I put in the gun, I lose the gun. I don't have the ability to pick it up on the way out. So no, but the lore is in my head. I can't lose it. I can lose the head, mind you, but I can't lose the lore. Anyways, so let's begin the caper. Now, this is important. The first thing you put in is your freebie for what you need to get into the assets. You're going to have 4 chances to add cards. The first one is now, which is 30 seconds down the road, and then you'll have the next one. But during those cycles, the second, third, and fourth, those that are connected to the challenges. If you don't produce enough of what you need, then you fail. But let's get this knocked out. We're just staying below the radar as much as possible here, because I want to get this caper done so I can shows it to you. There you go. All right. Begin a caper. I've begun. Keep an eye on the operation. Complications are on the way. Yep, obstacles are called complications. And here is the first one. A busy night lies ahead. Ready. 3 momentum means success. There'll be complications before that. We've put in the beads lesson. Blood can be replenished. Time cannot. You know what you're talking about. Yes, that is correct. Time is the asset. You can never, time is an asset that is difficult to replace. Anyways, and of course, it's telling us what we're currently doing. In addition, we now have the vault location, lore, and the 4 edge, which is the important one. This is what you want to keep track of. So we will continue once the initial 10 seconds are over. There you go. Violence is an option. I've used force. In other words, what it's telling me is the first challenge here requires edge or moth, which basically means that we can use deception. And the challenge would show up, by the way, if I had left it in. It shows a challenge. Essentially, it's called a Scarduler, which basically we have a regular Scarduler, except I'm going to use my mystical knowledge of violence to stop them. Anyways, but what we're also going to do is we're going to fire and forget. We have 8 edge here, which means we could have passed it with the moth too, which is awesome. But we have 8 edge that will produce the 12 we need for all of these challenges. And this particular one is one of the easy ones you can do with 12 of any aspect. So we fire and we forget. This also leaves both my weapons available should I need to kill someone. And you never know when you might need to kill someone. All right, so We're going to let that caper go. We're going to try to get through this caper without pulling another trace, because that means that we probably won't have anybody on our back too quickly. I am not going to do anything about getting money and such. We can do that on the way out. But if I can pull off this caper, I'll be very happy. And boom. Another complication. Basically, yeah, we passed this one. There is our momentum, 3 momentum to do a caper, and then boom. Bounce the solution. This one would be actually a possessed. Yeah. Since solving in advance takes away our text, our flavor text, I'll give it to you. Scarred Duelist salutes me is the first one. It's called Scarred Duelist. Strix ridden adversary. Strix. Another aspect of the Furies and war. A duelist scuttles keeningly. How do you scuttle? Oh, scuttles keening. They're screaming at us, which is what the Strix were known for doing, towards you. His muscles are taut and trembling. His eyes are black and gold like an owl's. He is Strix-ridden, possessed by many winged names of the Edge powers. All right, so demonic. Yeah, demonic empowerment is a thing in this game and in mysticism in general, in which if you let an entity possess you, it will give you some of its power. But the problem is with possession is, of course, the more powerful spirit than you, which is why you would have it in the first place, is going to have a little more control over the who's in the driver's seat. And boom, we now have a problem. Reckoners have arrived. So yeah, of course this is going to come down to it. 5 seconds, nearly there. We should be able to do this in about 20 seconds. And there's always a possibility that these guys won't show up. I didn't say it was likely, mind you, but it's a possibility. Plus, they're going to have to generate traces before we do so. Okay, violence is a solution. Ordeal, agony. This is what this challenge would have been if I hadn't already preempted it. Now I faced an ordeal of agony. I've done this kind of thing before, which is why I'm not looking forward to doing it again. Ordeal, by the way, is the mystical principle of suffering to purify yourself. Yeah. Some people again, I'm not going to dispute anybody's means of attempting to contact the mystical or divine, but some seem nicer than others. I still carry the scars from the last time, though, not on my skin. In trauma, great. So not only is our character an assassin who wants to get rid of it, he's like crawling the PTSD, which frankly we should be expecting in the first place. Okay. So hit me with it. Are you going to go away? Yep, they're going to start. So basically this is going to come down to a race. Now, thing is, he's going to have to generate a trace on his own. He's covering more clues. They may summon reinforcements soon. They can't, unfortunately, because we don't have a trace yet. The prize, this is what I came for. Yes, however, we have beaten the clock. All right. Softly away with my haul. Yeah, well, it's not much of a haul. First of all, like I said before, we get the Discharge Underworld connection. We have discharged our lesson. Now, the big thing about lore, by the way, is the higher the lore, the quicker it recharges, because it is useful in many ways, besides just giving us the advantage. For example, if I get into a fight, I can use it to automatically assure a hit. But this is the important part, the Mammurian Scar. Jennings says that some lessons can be written on the skin. This must be so, but it might be that Jennings and Choice's work a little too much. Yeah, he's a sadist. All right. Scar is an asset to us that does not go away. It's, of course, half of what a real scar is, but it doesn't take away from our health, which means we automatically, wherever we go, we're going to be carrying a 2-heart, 2-winter influence. But the important part greets me curtly. So is that we can use it to the scar. We clasp hands. Your associate is now an ally. 10 seconds from now, and Jennings will now follow us out of the city. He is now an ally. So let's get that knocked out, because we could be in a rush here in a moment. All right. So, I'm afraid we have made you quite distinctive indeed. Still, very good, very good. All right, you're creepy, but you're mine. Now, as you notice, 6 heart, level 2 associate, ally. They'll follow me when I leave, and of course, mortal. He can get killed. After all, we're being chased by assassins. So the question comes now: what do we do? They're widening the search. There's a chance, a very small chance, when this gets 0, that if there's no trace, they'll stop. But since it's 30 seconds away, what we can do is we can pop into Munich. Now, if they start burning traces, we're just going to start gathering cash to get on our way out. And if necessary, start shooting people, because we can do that now. All right, because I don't have any obscurity. Basically, if you have obscurity, you have to run. If you don't, you have an option to fight. Now, you can't fight. They'll just kill people endlessly, but you can get a few kills, and sometimes that's important, especially depending on what you're going for. But let's see if we can find another potential. And we have the option of getting the Underworld connection recharged in 10 seconds if I desire it. I have 300 seconds. That should be more than enough time. I'm not going to automatically do it. Now, the underworld connection, obviously we're not going to be using it for anything resembling sticking around unless we get really lucky, and we don't. They bump a trace. All right, so that means that basically it's take the money and run time again. Stolen year, we'll have the 60 seconds. Because we need 50 seconds to check out, plus if we buy anything right here. Also have vitality. This is important. We can use this to heal an injury. And, well, I don't really need it for the wound. All right, so, yeah. If I choose to use this, I can get rid of my wound, which, you know, is an advantage, especially if I have to start fighting. Medical credentials, which is awesome, but I can't do that because I need official connections to do that. Also, rulers will do it, but I'm not doing rulers, as I explained before. So, medical credentials, we're going to need a connection to get that. We have to be extremely lucky to do that. All right, reconnoiter. And do we want to do anything else? We can't attack the informant, unfortunately, and we need us 50 seconds to leave, so let's keep this in mind. We are not at the point where I can get rid of a trace, unfortunately. And it's kind of pointless as they'll continue... Oh, he's going to summon somebody. So when he's here, I may show how to kill someone, or at least wound them. The contacts might come in useful for that one, but if that's the case, let's go. All right, so another possibility. I mean, we were very quiet, is night. All right, so night can give us tranquility, which is another four heart for winter. I mean, the winter stuff is just becoming great. Or it can become dread, I think, which would be a 2-edge one, but it's really not useful. So the thing is, if you look at it by itself, it's 4 winter, 4 moth, and assist deception and an opportunity. Assist deception, shit. We're quick about this. We can get rid of that trace and get an obscurity. It'll take me 10 seconds to get this recharged. If I pop both of them within 4 seconds of doing the night, I can burn that into an obscurity, but we might lose the obscurity. We're going to have to leave quickly. So this is what we're going to be doing. First of things first, we're going to risk a stolen year and purchase with years to get this, because this also assists with deception. But of course, we're going to have somebody on our ass shortly, so we need to do this quickly. Now it's going to take 84 seconds. Oof. 84 seconds to get rid of the trace, because we need to go 24 seconds for this, and we need that, and we need a lot of things. Is it worth the year to try to do this? No, because this is going to run out before this does. Oh, we were so close. Well, we'll just let the night turn to dread. We'll hit Munich again, and we'll see what we can do. It always comes down to number crunching. Okay, so yeah, my wound's about to regen anyways. No reason to use it. All right, trace number 2, but we now have additional cash. This is, question is, can I do this? Yes. Now that he's on the board, I have the option of shooting him. I think I will. We don't have any obscurity on the board. I can't get any. There is no. Now, if I put the technique in here, if it was charged, I could automatically to get the kill. It's 100%. If I don't, it's 70%. 30 seconds from now, I may wound him. If I get 2 wounds on him, he dies. Leaves a trace, mind you. But it does give me some more breathing room. All right, so 2 traces, which means things could get worse. And now we have Dawn. Oh, great. Dawn. Apparently, I've spent the entire night just lollygagging about while, you know, someone's trying to kill me. At the 50-second mark, what do we do? Now, I can use the rifle to block any central attack on him. And if I'm careful, I can get this out in time if he attempts something else. Now, what is he again? Straight up assassin. All he's going to do is attack me, so all I need to do is block. So, Munich, go again. We might get a distraction for you to be able to use instead of a weapon. In the meantime, we're going to shoot him. All right, so you'll notice that this is now open. Hostile move. This requires me to put a weapon or a dude, because I can put a dude. Jennings, you're a duelist. Why don't you tackle him slightly? Now, there's a chance I could lose Jennings if I do that. I think, like a very small chance. Or there's a chance that he can wound the enemy. So the question is, since I just got him and he's a 6 heart, do I want to risk him or do I want to have him do bullet? I'm going to do the bullet because that's a quick recharge on this one. Now, granted, yes, I'll lose one of the 3 bullets, but if you got it, use it, my opinion. Now, if I don't use that and I use him and I turn around and shoot him with the rifle, that will mean that I have the option to, attack him again because the pistol will be exhausted. So this is how this kind of goes. You have to decide what you want to risk. Do we want to risk Jennings, who's a free 6 while he was around, which doesn't require packing, or do we want to risk using the bullet? Now, I'm going to risk using the bullet because of the fast recharge rate, because it refreshes quickly here, rather than Jennings' life. So Jennings, you take care of... I will... First of all, let's see if we wound the guy. There we go. Come on, come on. Direct assault my pursuer. Now, if you have obscurity and you attack someone, you automatically lose a palpable hit. I struck and faded back in. So yes, we have in fact... Oh, another trace. The Horned Axe's shadow. Oof. It's a distraction, which means I can use him to block an attack from the assassin, and I can eventually kill the assassin, which means that we go back to the spy trying to get us. Why this is all going on? I think that since we're going to have the extra time, we're just not decade. We're gonna take some more cash. Because I think we've got this situation down. The only thing that can happen is if he runs and gets more help. It's possible at that point we'll abort. We might lose the year. But, you know, we're having a good run here. Pursuer's wound. There we go. Takes him 1,200 seconds to do so. 2 wounds will kill most reckoners, 4 will kill an underboss. And we do not have so. But as you noticed, the gun is now exhausted and will require 120 seconds to recharge. The rifle will not. Now, another thing we can do right now, we can pull the rifle out, put it into the attack. All right. Then we'll take this and put it in distraction. So we can distractions cancel an attack. So this guy's attack will be canceled by the Horned Axe's shadow. The Horned Axe, the smell of hawthorn, the color of sunset bisect with the shadow. The Horned Axe is strong here. What that means is this can be used for other things too, like religious purposes. Yes, we can start a cult in this game too. It's awesome. Is that it will, the energy, we're essentially channeling this energy to block his attack. Not exactly sure how it works, mind you, but you know, I am not going to be complaining about that. But we're going to try shooting them again. Because, you know, dead assassin really doesn't help anyone. There we go. Pursuer stymied. The reckoners are wary of the hours. The shadows here are sharp with the presence of the Horned Axe. My pursuer hesitated and slipped away. He was a big cat. The hours do not like reckoners, by the way. Only the hours of war do. The search. So he's gonna come back at us again, not and look for reinforcements, which is good, because that gives me the opportunity to kill him. We have 94 seconds and geesh, missed. Oh, there we go. Now, here's the question. At this point, what do I do? Because we get the rifle back, and it has 90 seconds to recharge. Do we stick around? Oh, I should have been Muniching, by the way. Well, let's rectify that. Do we recharge, let the weapon recharge and come back? I mean, or do we go? And the thing is, if we take a wound, I can use the vitality to heal it. Pretty simple. See, in 30 seconds, he'll do us a wound. I can then use the vitality to regenerate. So I think we're just going to tank the hit at this point. And we're going to start leaving. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items, 70 seconds to get out of here. Be able to get rid of that, hopefully by time, and boom, we're done. Now the underworld connection, yeah, we're not going to be able to use it. So I think we're done here. Damn, I would have liked to have killed you, but when you lose him, you lose that wound as well. But hey, we left him something to remember us by, which, you know, is kind of how this game goes sometimes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you just mess people up badly. All right, so no medical. I want the medical credentials so badly. Anyway, so we need to leave. And we are now going to Strasbourg, which will give us 1 obscurity, and we can actually get back to trying to do the obscurity run. There we go. And go ahead, take the rifle. It's kind of useless at this point anyways. So get ready to tank a hit. All right. And boom, there goes. Yeah, we got safe, which is good. Gonna have a little more cash, which is good, but kind of risky. We still have, yeah, we're not going to be another 60 seconds in town, so we can't get any more cash, unfortunately. But once we tank that hit, we get that damn wound back. There goes our first suitcase of cash. Oh, I got lucky. The tax fail. All right, that's fine. Discreet office. What the hell am I going to do with a discreet office when I'm leaving town? Sometimes. If I had another weapon, I'd probably have taken a snap at him. But I don't, unfortunately. And it doesn't really matter what the trace is at this point. You already know we're here. Gods. Here we go. Another suitcase full of cash. All right, he's beginning searching for us again because we lost him after the failed attack. And boom. All right, yeah, we're on our way out. He won't get to us. Although, I'm just going to check. Quiet warehouse. It would have been perfect with the underworld if he wanted to do some illegal dueling, which hopefully we'll have an opportunity to do. And But yeah, we kind of left up things noisy. All right, so, and boom. All the cards, including the Reckoner himself, that related to the old ones are gone forever. All right, so this is our arrival. There's a tall shape waiting for me in a little garden by the museum. If I don't look too closely, it could be a man wrapped in blankets. It's not. Let's say it is. I don't look at him as he whispers to me and come away with the knowledge of the hidden ways of Strasbourg. Okay, we are now currently in Strasbourg, which gives us, as you stated before, 1 obscurity. So now we can get back to trying to avoid being noticed. And we have our stuffage, that we brought with us. So let's take stock here. 2 cash, at least one of which we're going to need to get out of town. An obscurity, great. Jennings, the Scar, the recharged lore, plus a couple of weapons. So we're doing okay here, and I'll need to switch to my little thing here. Okay, where are we? Strasbourg. Let's see what's in Strasbourg. Strasbourg doesn't have much, mind you. Of course, it's kind of out of the way, which is the whole point. And it doesn't have a caper, but hey, 1 successful caper is good. We've had 8 heart we can generate out of nothing. Just use it right away, and 2 winter, as well as our 4 edge. But it has nothing to do with what we're carrying. And there's our obscurity. Only defense against a Reckoner Lord, meaning that we've kind of lost track. But of course, we've arrived at a new town, so we need to get our exit strategy going. Now, since we've got obscurity running, we're going to find our exit first, let the weapons recharge, and then we'll be ready for if something goes south. I'd rather run than fight right now because we need to keep that obscurity up for a evasion run, which is what this is supposed to be. All right, Granada. Ooh, Granada. Granada is kind of fun, actually, if I recall properly. Could be a nice place to start up a few things. Yep. The Granada should be fun, but I doubt we're going to get to it this episode. We're only got about 15 minutes left, and we're probably going to spend this over here. Now, we'll put Granada. Strasbourg is our current one. We put it here. Granada's here. Make sure, yep, we only need 1 cash, so we take this 1 cash and put it here. Now, remember, we have the worth here plus the 1 cash here extra. Now, at this point, we might as well begin our quest to try to find new stuff. There's a unique item in Strasbourg, not unique to Strasbourg, but unique item that we can get if we are lucky. Gonna need to raise cash to do so, but I'm willing to take that chance. The biggest thing, of course, is trying to remain obscure. The trace will kind of counter that if we get one, and we do not. Good. Quiet warehouse. Now, I can leave some space out of the way. It's gonna cost us 2, which means we need to raise some cash or spend the profane weapon with cash to get it, or use the rifle in order to be able to get this. Now, it does have, however, a warehouse has assist deception, which will allow us to get another obscurity if we generate a trace. We have to generate the trace first, which means we might as well get around to doing the Strasbourg thing. All right, hit it again. And if we had the contact underworlds, we could use our combined 12 edge to gain some cash, because that is one of the best ways of doing it. Okay, so yeah. There's the first trace, and we have a weapon. Now, this will allow us to spend the weapon and buy it again if necessary. Now, since we've got the first trace, we can probably pretty much decide that we're going to be doing an exit strategy. In about 10 seconds, we're going to be dealing with that. So the first thing was to do is Strauss, and then do we want to use cash? And I think we do. So I prefer to have had a better opportunity, but let's raise cash hurriedly, just because we have to. Sigh. Some days. Now we need to get out of here before the Reckoners show up and burn away that 1 obscurity, so let's see what we can find. We might be able to generate another obscurity before we leave. 7, of course, is what we need to come to an ending. Underworld connection will do it. So if I buy the Quiet Warehouse and the and put them together, and the Underworld ones, I can put them together for 2 cash, 1 stolen year, in order to be able to give them or to be able to get rid of that 1 trace. But we already have the second trace already coming. We'll be doing that just due to obscurity. Sometimes when I talk out loud like this, I begin to realize how much thought goes into these sessions. All right, so what we need to do right now is decide how we're going to be running this. Now, the thing is, I can buy the warehouse immediately by putting in my 1 cash, saving this cash over here for the exit. And let me check something. I think I can do this, but I want to make sure. Nope, you can only use cash in order to be able to exit. to get a ticket. You can't trade in a gun for a train ticket. They're kind of frown on that. What we can do, however, is we can sell the gun and replace it by buying a new one right here. So that would be probably what I want to do if I want to get the quiet warehouse. Well, first of all, dump Strasbourg in here. We might as well see what else we can get before we have to bamboozle. So if I do that, combine these two, get the next obscurity, it's going to be a little rough. You need 85 seconds. I think we can do this, and I probably should see if I can. Now, losing the cash in the year, we lose the cash in the year if we do this wrong. So the question is, do we want to just exit? Because we can definitely exit, get that one cash and exit before doing so, or do we want to risk trying to get that? Now, I am going to bail. I am not going to try to get out of here before these traces. We've got two already. We're going to have a third one when we get the cash going to deal with us. So as long as we make sure that we're not going to lose the cash for what we're going to exit here, we'll be fine, and we'll be fine here. We'll get the cash, we'll exit. So Granada, in the time we have, boom, we prepare to depart. We were just here and now we're just leaving. This is this game in a nutshell. All right, so, and go. All right, you got the cash there. Now let's book it. Hey, Jennings, I hope you enjoyed checking out the train station, because that's the only thing we're going to be seeing in this town. All right, let's go. Second trace. And we continue our packing, because of course we must pack carefully when we need to leave town. There we go. There we go. There's our boy. God, the outside unexpected knock rarity. Ah! Wants it, but it's so expensive, and I've already put away all of the cash, so it doesn't matter. It's one of the unique items I was hoping to get, but c'est la vie, c'est l'amours. Anyway, so yeah, but we do get the cash, which we'll be taking with us. See, I could theoretically purchase this if I sold the gun and the cash I have here. And this is actually something to consider doing. Now, you have to make sure we can buy it in the time we have, or we'll lose all the assets we attribute to it. Now, at the moment, if I do that, I'll have no items remaining, and it'll be gone in 10 seconds. But it takes 10 seconds to buy a thing, and we have 0.4 seconds left. So we're going to play, I guess we're living dangerously. Here is cash, and here is the rifle. That will allow us to purchase this item. That means we're down the rifle, but I can live with that. I mean, we're doing an evasion run, which is primary gift is to get the heck out. All right, so let's see if I plan this right. 10 seconds, excellent. So yeah, what will happen is that we will grab that, and just in time. No, damn it! I had 0.2 seconds. That's unfair. Now we're screwed. We are so screwed. We lost the rifle. Oh, wait. We lost the rifle. We lost the cash. Oh, I thought we had it. I had 0.2 seconds, and you wouldn't suck it up. I gotta remember that next time. Oh, well, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But hey, we skipped my tantrum means we skipped the intro, so allow me to do this. So, Myria, the Visionary. Myria's place is in the Albicon, which is in the original Arabic means the place at the very top of all the hills after you've been traveling all day and none of the streets are lit. That's not really what it means. Cold, clean air. There we go. Cold, clean air, hushed white streets, and green splash patios and mountains are looking down. I might find something like a respite. So we're in Granada, and first thing we do, of course, is this. At least we have one cash to get out if everything goes bad. All right, so we're looking for a place out, but we also want to talk to Marina after that because she will have a caper. God, we spent 8 minutes according to this in that town. Wow. And we're down the rifle and cash. Comes it goes, but at least we still have the one's obscurity, which is the biggest part. Now, the caper, of course, is going to require a combination of attributes. I'm going to see whether or not we've got all of those. Let's see. Heart. Rail. Well, forge isn't a problem. But what else do we need? You have 6 lantern, but I have nothing else with lantern. Sorry, I'm doing some quick mathematics. Whether or not I can pull off her caper, because she's decent. I mean, 6 lantern. I mean, apparently we're losing items and gaining people. I suppose the real treasure are the friends we gained along the way. Okay, so 200. Use that for the 2 heart, then use him for that heart. Do I have any other heart? I don't. Had a little bit more heart. If, you know, if I only had some hearts. Enter. So, easiest this. No, we wouldn't do that. Oof. Oh. Okay, so what's probably the best thing we should do? Well, first of all, let's figure out where we're going next and whether we're going to have to raise some cash to get there. But yeah, I was really hoping to get that icon. But, you know, you're on the run. There's a peculiar priory in the Gulf of months ago, where about far west you can go without crossing the greater sea. Perhaps my foe won't find me there. If he does, it's time to make a stand. Now, this is the map, remote, not remotes, which will cost 2 to get there, and destination, and the problem is map's edge. This time must come when I can run no further, then I must choose whether to lose myself in the loneliest place I can find, or find that place to turn to foe. If I go here, I can't leave. This is where it's, if you go here, the game either ends with you dead, or you escaping, or your enemy dead. But what that means is this early in the game is I can't accept that as a destination. I need to find a place I can go. Now remember, if you run out of cards entirely, eventually you will have only a bad place to go. So we're going to lose this. We can gain 1 obscurity when we get there, but we still need 5 more obscurity before even thinking about that. And our real destination will be Avignon, which I actually kind of like. Avignon is kind of cool. I believe it's in... Where is it? Ah, France. Southern coast of France, which is lovely, by the way. Absolutely lovely. Question is, what do we want? And I believe, yeah, we only need 1 cash to get there. So we can get there, but we'll be broke. So now we have to ask ourselves what we're going to do. Can't yet guarantee to get through her caper. I would need a total of 10 heart. To do so, I can only generate 2 and 6. 8. So I have to find 2 heart or combine things. Edge 8 would do so, and I can still I can't produce that anymore without the rifle. So we need to consider our options. Okay. I guess we just take a chance. We might lose her. We might sacrifice her if we get an exit out if we can, but with the obscurity, we have to lose the obscurity first, which is a problem. And boom. Well, on the other hand, it'll be a lot easier to get out. Discreet office. I believe it's only a value of 1. Yep. So we can get the office, which assists deception, or if we get, I think we can do in the office, which I believe only the medical credentials will work. We could make money as a doctor because we actually almost have all the heart we need for that. Huh. That's actually interesting. We could play doctor with the actual doctor. We got Jennings over there. Grand townhouse. I don't think we wanted that. It gives us more comfort, by the way, but we aren't looking for comfort in this run. We're just looking to escape. All right, try again. The discreet office does have assist deception, so we can buy it for 1 and get rid of a trace that way, should we generate 1. And we're still lucky. We timed it right, so it's just on this end. Still no trace. Medical credentials, you're really hurting me here because we've got half of what we need here if I had an official connections. But are you going to give me an official connection? Are you game? Because you're disappointing me so far. And yes, Mariana, we check her out. Plump, dreamy, hesitant woman with very bright eyes. Yeah, she's a lantern, which means she's a seer, which means she's always looking at things and not doing much else. But, oh, heights is a distraction. We can use that to, you know, if you weren't doing an obscurity run, it'd be more useful. But in the meantime, it's 2 lantern. Oh, you're killing me here. 2 more lantern, and I'd have what I need. No, you're not lantern. I'd have what I need for her run. Oof. Well, guess we just have to hope to get lucky here. Yeah, stay away from the edge there, Mariana. Don't dream off the edge. Don't sleepwalk off of it. Still might have a use for you in the near future. All right. Underworld connection. Useful, but I can't be guaranteed. Okay, so that's going to give us 8 edge. Ooh. What does the Underworld connection give us again? I have to recall. I believe it's 8 edge, some grail connection. Sorry, I do not have all of this memorized, so I do have to look at it. 8 edge, 8 moth, 6 knock. All right, then we use that to finish hers. Moth will get us through. No. Edge will not either, so it's kind of pointless, unfortunately. But I can use this to ditch a trace, and that's actually something I may consider. I'll have to sell the gun possibly to do it, but right now I'm kind of pissed off. And we're not really about the fighting options, which don't seem to be doing us very well, so I may in fact do that. So, in the meantime, we need to actually generate a trace to do that. So let's see what we've got here. How much longer do we have this possibility? Another 170. You can actually, we can recharge these, by the way, back to full if we choose to employ them. So as long as I can keep an eye on the numbers, we'll be fine. All right, so come on. All right, so fish. Oh shit. Oh boy, let's talk about medical credentials. I have almost everything I need to get those. So how? And I don't have any pressure at the moment. That's an opportunity to do so. Employ with it. Okay, we're gonna do it. Okay, take official connections, put it here. Then take payment for the stolen ear. In the meantime, let's also take the opportunity to break down the decade as we're running low on individual ones. So first of all, put the official back in, take the stolen ear, and purchase. I'm going to become a doctor. Okay. Then, once we have that going, take the medical credentials, and we need to basically get the guy to... I don't have the time to do this the right way. Luckily, then I have the connections to do it the fast way and the wrong way. We're going to forge ourselves as being... Oh... Whoa. There's another chance here, isn't there? I just remembered official connections have 6 lantern. If I use him for the opportunity, I need 10 lantern, which I've got 6 and 6, 12. So that's 2 cards, generate 10. But I also need to be able to generate 8 heart, which I can do with Jennings and the Scar. You know what? It's time to have a little fun. This will cost us a year and possibly the medical credentials. But the question is, do I want the girl who has 6 lantern more than I want medical? Okay, I'm going to go with her, since the companions have multiple uses, including blocking anybody from coming into the city by laying a false trail, which is another option. So, best thing to do is we'll talk to her to arrange the initial meeting. Then Miria bursts into tears. God sent you, he said. I've done something, and then she breaks down altogether. As far as I can make out, she spied on a cult of the Thunderskin, which is a heart cult, for one of her paintings. They found her out, and now they're coming for her. So, we have to... Okay, I hate to break this to Marina, but as a seer, you should probably know in the Cultist Simulator universe, there is no Christian God. It's a Lovecraftian universe, and the gods are, at best, uncaring. So, we can use a dim at midnight. So let's get this started for the next caper. Wow, we're going to have a lot of capers in this run early on, which is good. I can deal with that. Then we're going to use the resource of, since we need, the first one needs to be 2 heart. Let's toss in our 2 heart, 2 winter scar that we got from Jennings. This is going to be fun. All right, so let's begin that caper. In the meantime, we're going to not do anything that does a trace, obviously. The official connection, we'll renew the medical credentials. We'll renew these opportunities every once in a while just to keep them going. But we don't actually, since I have everything I need to get the medical credentials, I don't actually have to use the official connections. But these will be used 6 and 6, right? So Jennings goes in at the 2nd time, then the Mariana goes in 3rd time, and then the official connections go in. So I have them in play for longer. Go. All right, get in, get out. All right, so we're gonna go deal with a cult of the Thunderskin. I mean, how they're of life, right? They must be happy, fun people, right? Who live on top of a giant mountain and perform pagan sacrifices. That hey, I'm a mystical assassin. I really do not have much to say about this. Right then, so you've begun and ready. There's a scar. There's the mountain. Let's go. 10 seconds goes by, and boom. All right, so since we've already passed this one, storm is the first obstacle. Thunder stalks the lightning through the clouds, and the rain comes down like fists. However, what it says at the moment is that I've used persistence. I've used the drum ceasing. You use Forge 2, basically means you brought your raincoat, or Heart 2, which basically you use your pure life force in order to keep doing. But the next thing I want to throw in is Jennings, because that will bring it to an 8 heart, which is what I will need for the next obstacle / complication. Again, we're just going to be concentrating on the caper, hopefully get it done. Meantime, the discreet office shall be... I can't renew it. Ugh. Well, it's unlikely they're going to be doing any of the any medical work here, but hopefully we will get that. In the meantime, which one? Yeah, we want to renew this. Ooh, can't do that. 132 seconds. Ooh. Tight. We might actually lose that unless the underworld connection can substitute. Can it substitute? Probably not, as I believe it's 8 edge, 8 moth. All right, so we're going to go for her instead of the medical license, and I'll probably regret this in the future. Come on, Jennings, do your thing. Yeah, I doubt we're going to get 103 seconds done. Ah, I thought I could renew the potential. Oh, might as well renew the underworld connection. Ugh, gods. Can't do that either. Ugh, screw it. We're renewing the heights. All right, so past that one, next complication will come up, and if you recall, it will tell me what I need, and boom, tells me I need 8 heart. I have 8 heart, so it just says that I've passed already, but what it says is the percussicant, which is the 8 edge, 8 heart entity that we can summon in the base game. They're being summoning it against us this time. A lolloping girl of furred clawed music demands my immediate attention. A percussicant. Basically, we're sending Jennings to go deal with it as a duelist, and my magic scar will help him. I don't know how, mind you, but it will. But what I'm doing next is I'm tossing Mariana in, because frankly, if I lose her, it's not really that big of a deal. She gives me an additional... That's edge. Yeah, she gives me additional 6 since the last challenge will require 10 lantern. We're okay here. I'll use the official connection for that. All right, go for it. All right, 60 seconds. Yeah, we're not going to make it. Oh, well. It was fun while it lasted. No, we can do this. Once I renew the height, boom, renewed. We have the medical license. I can use the official connection to get it and then recharge the official connection. Yes, using a year. We can do this. We can do this. Give it to me. I want to be known as Dr. Kimball, which is actually what the character is. He's a surgeon, which is hilarious, mind you, but we now have the medical credentials. The name of the license isn't exactly mine, but it's close enough. It is portable. It is an asset. I can sell it. It's proof. It's only worth 1, by the way. It's not really the right paper. You can prove anything. God, bureaucracy. And it's worth 1, as it tells me. But yeah, we now have this, and it is packable, and we are going to be using it to play Doctor on the next episode, hopefully. In the meantime, however... Oh no, it burned it out, so I'm going to lose. Oh, I'm such a fool. Oh well. Let's see, what do we have? We have currently 6. We're going to need 10. Year 2 lantern, we'll throw it in. We might get lucky. It might let us do that. But if it needs to have come down to the fact that either we can get the medical credentials or her. I thought I wanted her more, but honestly, push has come to shove, and I'm almost like, screw it. I am done with being nice to the lady. Look, I'm going to try to save you. Complication. The songs of the cultists soften something into like a lullaby. If I'm struggling to keep my eyes open, my head feels stuffed with feathers. Some help to stay awake till dawn. Some of those complications can be defeated with the appropriate asset. Now, as you can see here, I need 10 heart, 10 winter, or 10 that. The current levels are 8 lantern, 2 moth, 2 winter. I can't do much about this, unfortunately. So what we're going to do is probably tank the hit. We have a small chance that we'll be able to pass it with an inadequate number. You also notice that, by the way, there is no... Really no point in doing that. Oh, well. So we're going to come through this with medical credentials and no traces when we start the next episode, I think, because we're running on an hour now. So, yeah, that's a place to start anyways. And there's no reason we can't try it again if I get the official connections. And I'm willing to stay here and do so as long as the traces don't do so. But what we got here is that the caper has failed. All right, so the husk, something's been used up, which is probably not is the momentum lost. Momentum, lost, trace. That's the problem. So what we want to do now is probably work towards getting... we have an underworld connection. So we can try from here and attempt to do so. But what's going to make the decision is in 5 seconds. Right. Okay. So now this is where we're going to be starting next round. As you can see, we had our caper disastrously fail because we had insufficient lantern because I went for the medical credentials, and in retrospect, I'm not going to apologize. Now, there's a couple ways next episode we can run this. We can run it so that I attempt to burn that trace out by getting... why am I pointing at the screen? You guys can't see me. I don't use a webcam. We're going to be... I'd be looking at my face, too. You wouldn't tell where I'm pointing. Anyways, so yeah, we could use the underworld connection by burning off a year, and then hopefully using the Granada thing, get another get another discrete one to get a second obscurity. Now, that's actually kind of a good option, because what that will do is even if we fail, since we have less items, since it unfortunately caused us to lose some of our baggage off the back. Jennings, I'm looking at you. That now we can also, of course, we are not going to now, or we can just leave for Avajon right now and attempt to do so. But I think we should stick around next episode, because at the very least I'm going to sell one of these years for cash, possibly get the underworld connection going. We may have to start dealing with the fact that we're going to be having opponents show up, but when I am down a rifle, it's going to be a fun show. But that's kind of what these sort of the Exile's about. You got to balance risk versus reward. It would have been nice if I had thought to use the connections on the caper first, then gotten the credentials, but there wasn't that opportunity because the medical credentials were going to burn out. So you got to make hard choices, and you got to make them. And I think in the long run, given that I have almost everything I need here for to make a good medical degree in some other town, to be able to medical practice to gain cash, and I'll show you how to do that because it's the best way of doing it in the game, then we will see how that works. Anyways, this is Fantastic World saying farewell from Lovecraft Country. Hope you enjoyed this, either if you're watching live or if you're watching the YouTube version. If you, of course, the like, share, subscribe on the YouTube side. Follow me on Twitter for notifications when I do this, because my schedule's kind of erratic. I try to do it at least once on Friday and Sunday a week. Doesn't always guarantee, but what can I say? In addition, there are unlock goals for both Twitch, subscriber stretch goal, and follower stretch goals, so they call it on Twitch, and subscriber stretch goals. Now we just passed the 851, which means we have an additional lore episodes for Cultist Simulator, and those just keep piling up. I mean, the first one I've got planned, if I can get through the Grimoire and the ghost story, which hopefully by Christmas, yes, my real life ghost story, I have had a lot of ghosts in my life, there will be probably in the beginning, dealing with the creation myth of the Cultist Simulator universe, which you can find in the backstory of all the books and such. But that's going to be a little bit probably after we're done with this series, and before we do the Darkest Dungeon one. And of course, 875 will be an additional episode for Secret World Legends, if you're one of my followers doing that, and probably another Let's Try. Now, I'm hoping next week to begin the voting cycle again. Now, if you're not aware, by the way, the series on YouTube that I do for Lovecraft Country right now just started as Control, and that was voted on by my subscribers. That's one of the advantages of being a subscriber. And of course, the supporters, which we'll get into next, have more votes. But in any case, they just voted for Control, which is I just started series. But I'm going to start putting out one Let's Try a month to show the new series. Now, 2 of them are going to be the second episodes of ones that were already in the first cycle. And those were Death Stranding and Other Side. Other Side will probably be what's next week. Then, when Control is done, my subscribers will be able to vote on which of those will be it. Now, I've got a few other people who suggested the other 4 slots for what we're going to be watching, and I'm going to take them into account. I've got a pretty good idea where we're going for this, so join me as we go along with that. And of course, if you like to watch Control, boom, just started. The first 2 episodes are up. The 3rd episode will be coming, and will have already probably dropped by this point. And the 4th episode, which is actually the first real episode because there's some previously recorded material on that, will be the week after that. Anyways, I've been rambling on for too long. So, hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye. I'd like to thank my Acolyte level supporters, whose contributions help this channel grow and hastens the inevitable digital apocalypse and rise of the Dark Lords of Content and Data.